Hey guys, what is going on? This is Wrestlelamia, back with another episode. The road to WrestleMania 38 continues on tonight's Red Brand as the WWE's biggest show of the year draws closer. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the 21st March edition of the Red Brand, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including rumors on what will happen when Steve Austin confronts Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, Omos's big opponent for WrestleMania, The Undertaker digs up and dispels a long-running rumor, and more. As always, Wrestlelamia won't recap the matches, but provide the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. The good. Kudos to Kevin. Kevin Owens did it again, pulling a fast one on the fans attending Raw, and while he didn't fool them for long, it was long enough to get the desired result, an outpouring of boos and added heat for Owens' looming confrontation with Stone Cold at WrestleMania 38. KO's spot-on impersonation of the Texas Rattlesnake showed Owens' talent as a heel, and sadly, a reminder of how the WWE has underutilized him by keeping him out of the main event for much of his career. Perhaps Owens' performance building things up towards WrestleMania will catch the WWE's attention. Another fantastic main event. Raw delivered another fantastic main event with two of WWE's best workers putting on the proverbial clinic in the ring. Both men's interactions on the mic and in the ring shows plenty of promise should WWE decide to run a Rollins vs. Styles program once their respective current programs are over. Although the disqualification finish tarnished the match somewhat, the bout's purpose was to drive the storylines of Edge vs. Styles feud and Seth's struggle to find a WrestleMania opponent. Good wrestling throughout. Seth vs. AJ was just one of many marvelous matches that served as a reminder that WWE has a fantastic roster of talent and talent who can work a variety of styles. Whether it was the bruising brawl between Omos and the team of Aziz and Apollo Crews, the tag team match between the Dirty Dogs and the Mysterios, or any of the other matches, with the exception of the as always awful 24/7 nonsense, Raw gave fans a rare show where every match delivered. Seth's strong statements. Is Seth Rollins the WWE's best talker? In a promotion full of top talkers like Edge, Roman Reigns, Charlotte, and Randy Orton, there is plenty of competition for the title, but Rollins has been on fire with his promos for the last 2 years, largely since his 2019 heel turn. Tonight's efforts to steal AJ Styles' WrestleMania spot and retire Edge in the process was a nice touch, as it showed Rollins' arrogance and was a reminder of their previous feud and the bad blood that still exists. Rollins is arguably the WWE's best heel and a reminder that not every wrestler needs a world title to stay over. McAfee and Theory shine. The interaction between Mr. McMahon's pet project Austin Theory and SmackDown color commentator Pat McAfee showed just how surprisingly strong the storyline has been between these two. While McAfee's distractions during Theory's bout with Finn Balor was booking 101, both men made it work, adding to the anticipation for their WrestleMania showdown. Becky's brilliant promo. Has Seth Rollins been coaching his better half on promos? At the risk of sounding condescending, Wrestlelamia thinks tonight's promo from Big Time Bex was one of her best in a long time, arguably since her heel turn. Becky's warning to arch-nemesis Bianca Belair that the EST will sacrifice her soul in vain when she loses at Mania was fantastic, but not as fantastic as Lynch's proclamation that she's already sold her soul to become Raw Women's Champion, and she'd do it every night to keep the belt. Hyping WrestleMania throughout the show. Tonight's Raw was a brilliant blueprint for how to hype a premium event, as every match and segment helped build up the matches for this year's show of shows. As good as the 11th March SmackDown was in hyping Mania, Raw took things to the next level, quite a shock given how Raw rarely ratchets up the excitement for big shows. The WWE made sure to touch base with every big match booked for its two-night Super Show, whether it was title matches, grudge matches such as the Mysterios versus The Miz and Logan Paul, and even the newly announced match of Omos versus a mystery opponent. The bad. Seth's struggle. Seth Rollins has been magic on the mic and a technician in the ring, but his repeated requests to take other wrestlers' spots at WrestleMania have made no sense. Whether it was Rollins' attempt last week to take Kevin Owens' spot at WrestleMania or this week's gambit to replace AJ Styles against Edge, the WWE has given no plausible storyline reason why Rollins can affect the booking for WWE's biggest show of the year. Granted, the storyline is that Seth feels disrespected by him being shut out of this year's Showcase of the Immortals, but the WWE shouldn't push the storyline with an implausible situation. Another RK Bro Alpha Academy rematch. As much as Wrestlelamia has enjoyed the rivalry between RK Bro and Alpha Academy, not to mention the addition of the Street Profits to the program, the WWE didn't need another match between the two teams. One of WWE's biggest problems is its reliance on rematches to fill its shows when it should be working on other ways of promoting a feud. Although the WWE has done this a bit better with RK Bro and Alpha Academy by using some funny skits to lessen the monotony, their feud has featured too many rematches. And don't even get us started on Austin Theory vs. Finn Balor Part 31. The Downright Ugly. Nothing ugly, absolutely nothing ugly, and other than a couple of blemishes, this was one of the best Raws in months. While that might seem like faint praise given the Red Brand's lackluster record, tonight's show demonstrated that Raw has the talent to deliver the good from bell to bell, even with the burden of filling out a 3-hour show. The WWE even provided a definitive date for Veer's debut, not that anyone likely cares. The WWE's history of putting on an outstanding Raw only to have things nosedive over the next 3 months has Wrestlelamia wary of what's next, but there's no reason why the Red Brand can't deliver on a regular basis. The news. Austin KO plans revealed? Topping today's news is a report from Dave Meltzer about just how involved Stone Cold Steve Austin will get when he appears on the Kevin Owens show at WrestleMania. As previously reported, the Bionic Redneck has been working hard on his conditioning and, according to Diamond Dave, is in fantastic shape and will do more than just deliver a stunner to KO. Speaking on the Sunday Night's Main Event podcast, Meltzer mused that he expects Austin to brawl with Owens for several minutes. Could fans see a wild Pier 6 brawl that spills into the crowd? If so, it seems like a good way to protect Austin while giving fans something more than a brief tussle between the Attitude Era icon. Omos facing main eventer at WrestleMania? Looks like WWE's resident giant Omos is going to face his toughest challenge yet, as Fightful Select reports the former Raw Tag Team Champion will battle a returning Bobby Lashley at this year's Showcase of the Immortals. Omos has been unstoppable since debuting on the main roster in 2020, both in tag team and singles bouts. While Omos has shown progress in the ring, his singles matches have been squashes, leaving questions about his long-term prospects as a singles star. While it may be advantageous to continue having Omos squash opponents, at some point the Titan will have to work longer matches, even 4 to 5 minute fights, to keep things interesting. Bobby Lashley could certainly provide Omos with a chance to show he can do more than manhandle opponents in seconds, and it could even lead to a good feud between Omos and the Almighty. Gable Steveson debuting soon? Now that Gable Steveson has retired from amateur wrestling, the WWE Universe is wondering when the highly decorated amateur wrestler will make his pro debut. According to a story on Wrestling Observer Radio, fans could see the Olympic gold medalist and 2-time NCAA wrestling champ on Raw very soon. As Wrestlelamia recently reported, Steveson tweeted that he was going to show up at WrestleMania, but took the tweet down. Do you think Gable should work in NXT first, or is he the type of talent that should be featured on the main roster right away? More Bayley is back rumors. The mystery surrounding Bayley's return is growing stronger as fans believe she could be back at any time following her lengthy absence due to a freak injury suffered during a practice session at WWE's Performance Center last summer. PW Insider reports that Bayley, who required surgery to repair an ACL injury, should be back in about a month, but that it won't likely be until after WrestleMania. Undertaker Buries grandmother story. Last but not least, The Undertaker is finally laying a long-standing rumor to rest. If you're a fan of the Phenom, you've probably seen that vintage photograph of him standing next to a senior citizen, with rumor having it that the silver-haired sweetheart was his mom or grandmother. Recently, The Undertaker spoke with Ryan Satin on the Out of Character podcast, revealing, "The funny thing about this is I have no clue who that is. Honestly, I have no idea who that is and why I'm in that lady's house. I've seen that picture many times, and it's either always my mom or my grandmother. I got no clue, but as you can tell, yep, that's the way I dressed, that's the way I looked, there's no smile. If that was Nana, I'd at least have some kind of smile." Well, there are many rumors about The Undertaker, this one can finally be laid to rest. Then again, fans will likely begin speculation as to who the lady in the picture is and claim she was a ring rat from the Buddy Rogers era looking to show Taker a good time. Well guys, there you have it, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly from the 21st March edition of Raw. What did you think of the show? Be sure to leave your comments and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time for some more wrestling content.